When you
Mm-hmm.
pick up on an intuitive level, it doesn't have to be just seeing things or feeling things. You
Mm-hmm.
could be aware of thoughts. You could also be aware of just knowingness. You walk in a room and you just know something big went down.
Do you ever wonder if you're on the right path in life? Or maybe you know you're not on the right path and you're lacking the clarity to find your way. On today's episode, you will learn how to increase your intuition, allowing you to see, hear, and know the next steps to take in your life. By using simple methods, you will receive the answers you are seeking. Isn't that wonderful? You will also learn how to release the fear. This is probably the biggest part of it all, right? That holds you back from being your authentic self and walking your true path in life. Today's guest, Julia Harrell, will help guide you to your greatest life. Julia is a clairvoyant and spiritual development coach who helps highly sensitive people, empaths, and intuitives to overcome their sensitivities, heal themselves, and thrive. She was a former rock drummer in San Francisco. That is so freaking awesome. I can't wait to hear more about that.
Yeah.
Trying to escape the inner noise in her head before she began meditating and found her true place in the world through spiritual training and practice. What a story. Since 2008, she has guided thousands of students through professional readings, healings, and teachings, and now witnesses miracles weekly as her students wake up to who they truly are as they begin to understand their purpose in the world. She is a contributing author in the upcoming book, Harmony and Chakras, Volume 3, Raising Happy and Healthy Children for Entrepreneurs Working at Home by Olivia Whiteman. Julia is also currently working on her own book, Go Girl, Sensitivity as a Strength. I like that. Your Path to Spiritual Awakening. Welcome to the show, Julia.
Great to be here. Thanks, Wendy.
All right, take us back. The one thing that stuck out to me was, your world of being the drumming world and what changed for you. And why were you trying to even drown out the true Julia?
I didn't know that it was noise in my head I was trying to drown out. I mean, I started drumming when I was a little girl, actually. I would make a drum set out of, we had this red laundry basket, and then my sister's diaper pail, big yellow one, and somehow I had a real snare drum from Sears or something. You know, I asked my parents later, what do you think of giving a 2-year-old a drum? And Mom said, I just thought you would like it. And I'm just always drumming and stuff. So the drumming was always in me. But as I got older and partying was part of growing up and stuff, I had all these sensitivities that I wouldn't have said. Back then, we didn't talk about empath or HSP, highly sensitive person. That just wasn't a thing. It was, you're too sensitive and that's a problem. And you're just always going to have this problem. But inside, I knew there's actually power here.
Yeah.
But I didn't know how to express it. So the drums gave me a voice to have that power. And I just love digging in on like a hard rock and roll. I had to do jazz for a while because that's like the thing when I finished school. And my favorite was playing in rock clubs and making music together, creating music together. When I moved to San Francisco, to back up for a minute, coming into that, I had a master's in music. And so I thought, I'll teach college. I did later. But I was just on that path, teach college. And it's all just study, do your books, practice, you know. And there was a big turning point. One of my turning points was leaving Texas and moving to California, following that dream, following that intuition and going, this is not my path, which is a big
Mm.
part of your audience, right? You look around and you
Yep.
go, well, school told me that's the next step is you
Yep.
teach college and this is how you do it. And I'm like, no, I want to play rock and roll and go to California.
Yeah. That's what you do, right?
So that's what I did. And I came out and I actually took the master's degree off my resume just to get a job. I actually did that.
Interesting. Yeah, that
I
is so
did that.
funny.
It was
Where
this
most
this
people are adding that, like, you're
this
taking it
idea
away.
like I have to have the day job and do the rock and roll thing, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm playing in clubs and you know, we get paid in beer and a little bit of money at the door or something. Living that kind of fantasy life for a while and just playing all up and down Bay Area. And parts of it I loved, and part of it I was scared because of where we had to rehearse.
Yeah, I bet.
But inside me, there was something that wasn't having expression anywhere. The loud rock kind of gave that inner
Yeah.
a place to express, but I didn't have the words or the emotion or the intuition built yet to know what else was inside of me bubbling up, wanting to come out. It wasn't until I put the beer away and I started meditating immediately. And then it was like, oh, there's a whole nother world I didn't know. It's like, you know, it's there, but that's like
Yeah.
for the woo-woo people.
Yep. Yeah. Like me. Yeah. That's kind of interesting. I was just thinking it was more like it wasn't so much the external noise as it was your internal noise.
Nailed it. Yes.
Yeah.
For me, I didn't realize until much later, I was picking up more like telepathy, you could say, the thoughts that are going around. When you
Mhm.
pick up on an intuitive level, it doesn't have to be just seeing things or feeling things. You could
Mhm.
be aware of thoughts. You could also be aware of just knowingness. You walk in a room and you just know something big went down.
Yep.
You know, these are all different levels of tuning into our intuition, of our intuitive knowingness. But for me, yeah, I didn't realize I was trying to shut out the noise in my head, which was I was picking up other people's thoughts.
Yes, I know. I can relate to that. I know I shared with you, like, even since a child, I'd always been very more so, and I'll let you break down like the different types, but there's clairsentient, clairvoyant. Isn't there another one? Clair,
There's 7 or so main ones.
yeah. And clairsentient is more of like feeling, like the emotions.
Correct.
And I
Correct.
was always like that as a kid and even in my 20s and 30s. And like it would go in waves depending on what was going on in my life. And I never knew really how to manage it all. And so I would get very like down. Like if I walk into a room with a lot of negative energy, or if I'm with someone, I'm talking to someone. I mean, now I can handle it. But back then it was very overwhelming to me, like to the point I would just become nauseous and I couldn't like because I was absorbing everyone else's emotions and I would
Yeah.
feel it. I was like, oh my gosh. And then I was like, is there something wrong with me? Like, what is it? But then like there's a part of me, I knew it wasn't all me, but I just didn't know how to like separate that out and to cut that noise. Yeah.
Yes, excellent. That can
Yeah.
be adjusted and
Yeah.
you can manage that ability. It's often
Yeah.
one of the first abilities, intuitive abilities to wake up. And the way it's mechanically works in the body is the energy center below the belly button. So in a woman in the female space.
Mhm.
And that's where that energy, because when you look clairvoyantly, you can see how the energy is running and it goes into the energy, it steps down into the energy system, into the glands, part of the endocrine system, and then out
Mhm.
into nerve plexus and into the which then you would feel it on like an anxiety level. It
Yes.
would overload the nerves and stuff. So
Yep.
that's kind of how that technically steps down. So if that ability is open and like
Yes.
you know, um, on its own. You're not trying to. This is kind of a misconception out there that you're absorbing, you know, as an empath, you're absorbing things. You don't walk in a room going, I want your stuff.
Yeah, I know. I definitely don't. I have enough baggage on my own. Yeah. Yeah.
But it's an intuitive ability it's an energy, and it opens up and it flares out, much like a dolphin is pinging in the environment. Where's the girl dolphin? Where's the boy dolphin? Where's the fish? Where's the boat? And it's pinging out and gathering information, gathering data to learn to manage, you know, what's going on in our environment. But you can dial that down. You can definitely dial it down and separate what's my energy and what's somebody else's. This is often the first ability to wake up, and then you would move towards more upper centers, because then you can see somebody walks in across the room, and then you can use the upper centers to just see and know what's going on with that person without having to match it. So it's a matching vibration. You're not actually absorbing, you're matching it like a string would vibrate. And so then when that, like, somebody walks in the room, maybe it's a guy that's angry, and that's going to be really unpleasant in a female body. Male anger, and it vibrates like a string at a certain rate. You could almost see it. And then if you're tuned in on that level with that energy center below the belly button, which that's where your digestion is. Hello.
Yes. Yes. That's why I get nauseous. Yep.
And then you start matching that. And then that guy walks away, but now you still have that match of a male anger vibrating here. And then all of a sudden later in the day, you feel like, oh, I'm angry. I'm feeling anger. I must be angry. But it wasn't your anger to start with. It gets tricky that way, because we just think if there's anger in my space, I'm angry. But not so with clairsentience, or the ability to feel energy.
I think for me, when I learned more about that, we're basically this little ball of energy. I mean, we're 99.9999% energy, right? Like very teensy tiny bit matter. And it matters because you are more energy. You're vibrating. Everyone is vibrating, like all these little balls of energy going around. And emotions, thoughts, feelings, all of it is energy, and it's all putting out vibrations. And I'm trying to think, like, what is I think the highest is joy, gratitude, as far as on the level of energy, right? Our vibration. And then depression, resentment, anger. Interestingly, anger is a few notches above sadness or grief, because anger, I've always like, once I learned that, I was like, okay, anger's not so bad, because
it's
not to
moving
say
up.
you don't want to hang with it for a long time, but anger can also motivate. It can also move. Whereas sadness, depression is kind of like
doesn't move.
Yes, it's like still like like a murky puddle, you know. But once you learn a little bit more about that, knowing that you are energy, everyone is energy, everything is energy, then you start to tap into, like, wait a second, everything is energy. And you out there listening, you have control of your energy. And once you learn to, like, kind of laser focus in on your energy, it's like, you're not, quote unquote, absorbing or taking in, and knowing when is, like, this is my energy, that is somebody else's energy. Okay, got it. Like, I'm not going to carry this around with me. Like, I'm not going to carry all this luggage around with me. I'll let him carry that. I'll let her carry that, you know? And I think too is, you know, as when you're extra sensitive, when you're an empath, you tend to be extra caring and, like, let me carry that for you. Oh, I don't want you to hurt and be in pain. Let me carry your baggage for you. And next thing you know, you've got like a U-Haul truck full of luggage that you're hauling around your whole life.
Well, they're often natural healers. They do love helping and healing, but we have to learn how to manage that. You know, it's like, I love working with other healers, helpers, leaders, guides that work with other people, so you don't pick up and take home some of the energy you were working with of your client. And we also have to look at, just because I'm aware of their pain doesn't mean I have to help them. There might be another way to help them, or they might have somebody else. This came up with a client the other day. She came in with PTSD, having served in the military, and some pretty extreme stuff. And in a couple of sessions, this was a healing package she wanted to do, because there were many, many areas of life she was wanting to transform. It's not so much transforming as uncovering who you really are.
Yes.
Because we get these other identities that we think, this is who I'm supposed to be.
Yeah.
I'm this person in this neighborhood and, this bracket or whatever. It's really, my job is to point out, hey, you're a leader and a guide. You go first, and then the troops follow, and of course you're going to get more arrows that way, energetically, as well as, physically perhaps. But and she started to uncover more of who she really was. And then it was like on a scale of 1 to 10, where the anxiety was when you came in, and it was like an 8, and now it's like a 2.
Yeah.
That's amazing. But then her abilities started to wake up, and then she realized, I'm seeing the truth around me, and it's upsetting. So because I see the truth, do I need to work with child trafficking, or this political thing, or the truth about this or that, and I had to just coach that. Yay, your ability to see and know truth, which for a leader is what your guidepost is.
Right. Truth. Yeah.
But just because you see it and know it as truth doesn't mean that you're the person that needs to fix it and change it. Just like maybe a contractor driving down the road and sees that roof needs repaired. We need some paint over here. That gate needs fixed. We need that yard needs update or what. It's not all theirs to do just because they're aware of it. So then
that's a good analogy. I might have to use that.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed that, give me a thumbs up, and be sure and subscribe so you get the next one. Meanwhile, here's a couple more videos.